Does he have a point?
No. Russell wants to get protected. He wants to have input on the offense. Skip, a lot of times what we're seeing here is that if I'm reading Rob correctly, he said they paid him twice. All the dominant other voices, they removed from the equation to make sure Russ knew this was his team. Well, it's the equivalent, another relationship. Skip, you get mad. You go, gave a nice wedding, gave a nice honeymoon, and then after that, it's over. We don't do no more vacations. We're not going out to eat. I done gave you all that. He's like, what you think gonna happen? You're gonna say, oh, no, you didn't. So in other words, because they removed the dominant voices, it's Russ's team. And because they paid him twice, Russ basically just throw the football. Russ says, I want to be protected. You see how many times Russ has been hitting? All of it is not on the offensive line fault. When you're a mobile quarterback, a lot of times you run yourself into sacks. If you look at the guys that have been sacked the most, the majority of them were mobile. Brett Favre has been sacked the most. Brett Favre was mobile. John Elway's been sacked a lot. He was mobile. So was Ben Roethlisberger, Randall Cunningham, guys that can move around. Look at Tom Brady. Ben Roethlisberger is 5 sacks from behind Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's played probably 3 or 4 more years than Big Ben.
Ben's going to last one more, right?
Maybe it's 8 games if he keep on taking the punishment that he's taking. So what Russ is saying, and I want to be protected, guys. Y'all don't spend no money on the offensive line. For the last 3 or 4 years, we've had the 30th or the 32nd highest paid offensive line in football. So how do you expect me to win with that? Everybody get to have input. Your sons, they get input in the offense, but when I try to have some input into the offense, you scoff at that. So Russ has said, enough of this. I appreciate everything you've done, but if you think just because you turned the team over for me and you can leave me unprotected and I'm going to be okay, I'm not going to be okay with that. If you think I should not have input on what I think would work best for me, you're sadly mistaken. So, no, I do not agree with Rob. I understand he has the pulse, the heartbeat of the team, but I'm going to disagree. I'm going to respectfully disagree with him on this. Yeah. Russ says, I want to be protected. I want to have input on the team. And I get, well, he should have did this. Players always have to step on eggshells. Well, don't do this. Players never tell, teams never tell the players, we want to trade you. They just do it. Russ says, look, give me some input. I've gone to you. I've tried to be as respectful as I possibly can, but it's falling on deaf ears. Guess what? I got me a megaphone. I had my agent shout it out. Now y'all listening.
Interesting. So I know Michael Robinson, as you call him, Rob, a little bit. I really respect his opinion because he will plunge with what he believes.
Yes.
And I believe there's much truth to what he's saying. They did, for years, go out of their way to elevate Russ to the pedestal in the locker room, right?
Yeah.
It started with that Super Bowl after 2014 season. You always say that was the turning point for the Legion of Boom.
Yep.
And you know what happened? They put the ball in Russ's hands instead of beast modes.
Yep.
The 1 yard line, and the rest is Super Bowl history.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And from that moment on, one after another of the Legion of Boom gone, because they were rebelling inside. It was almost a wide open mutiny inside.
It was,
right?
Yes.
And it was all about Russell getting too much respect, getting elevated by management, almost like he was the teacher's pet.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, so we've gone from that to the teacher's pet turning on the teachers, right? And we went from preseason last year when that annual NFL players-only top 100, voted upon by the players, top 100 players, Russell came within a whisker of beating out Lamar for the top spot. Remember that?
Yeah.
So he's 1A of the best player in football. And then he got off to a pretty good start, but over the last 11 games last year, he wasn't very good.
Right.
Because he had the second most turnovers in the whole NFL in the last 11 games. They did hang in. They hung on. They won the division. They got a home playoff game, and what happened?
They got shellacked.
They got shellacked by a rival within the division, the Rams, who had to start John Wolford at quarterback because Jared Goff had screws put in his throwing thumb because it was fractured, right? Then Wolford's lost quickly, and they lost to Jared Goff with screws in his throwing thumb, right?
Correct.
And in that game, Russell Wilson, the final score is 30-20. Russell had a QBR of 17 on a scale of 0 to 100, which is horrible.
Right.
he was horrible, certainly by best quarterback in the league standards, right? So we went from Seattle fans saying, let Russ cook, to let Russ sulk, because I became more and more disappointed in him, and I have great respect for him and on and off the field respect for him. But what started to happen? It felt like he was classic Aaron Rodgers blame deflecting. It felt like he was pointing fingers to take the onus off him and put it on them.
Well, Russ understands that he has to play better, Skip. The way that he played down the stretch, and you mentioned it with the turnovers, is unacceptable. Like I said, a mobile quarterback a lot of times will run himself into sacks when he's thinking that he's running away from something on the front side. He falls into the trap on the backside, and Russ does a lot of that. Deshaun gets sacked a lot because he's mobile. They feel they can get out of harm's way. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, guys that you think, oh, man, they can get out of harm's way. They run themselves into trouble sometimes also. Skip, I get that. You've turned this over to me. But in the process of doing that, you've also hampered me by not giving me offensive linemen that can protect me. Skip, I mean, those offensive linemen, the 30th, you spent no money. Yes, you giving me great wide receivers, Lockett and DK Metcalf and Moore. Yeah, they got great weapons on the outside.
Was DK Metcalf not the steal of the 2019 draft? He was near the bottom of the second round.
Yep.
Was that not the steal?
He's been great. For whatever reasons that running backs can't stay healthy, it seems like.
But it's not like they're not there. They just can't stay
healthy. But I feel Russ, because at the end of the day, Skip, when this all thing is over, ain't nobody gonna look at nobody's gonna look at no linebackers. Ain't nobody looking at no DBs. Ain't no one looking at no running backs. This is gonna fall on Russell's. This is on Russell's plate. Russell, the quarterbacks get far too much of the credit. They get far too much of the blame. But you know when it's all said and done, this is gonna be Russ. Ain't nobody gonna mention nothing about no Legion of Boom. They gonna say, well, Russ didn't get it done. They gonna say, even though the Legion of Boom, you said it, they had that lead in the fourth quarter. But who takes the blame? Russ. He threw the ball. He threw what they couldn't understand, why, Pete, you even put him in that situation. Mm-hmm. And they said, Russ, a quarterback of your caliber, audible out of that. Run it. So they hold Pete and Russ equally responsible because they felt Russ had the cachet to audible out of that, and Pete should have never called a play with to begin with. But I understand Russ's frustration.
I think Darrell Bevel called it and Pete co-signed.
Right. Because it's a situation like the head coach can hear everything, both offensive and defensive calls. And you best believe, Skip, if they call something at Alabama and Coach Saban don't like it, you think they're going to run that play?
Nope.
So Pete Carroll...
Definitely when it comes to run or pass.
Yes.
Not specific play call, run or pass.
Right.
Because that's what Jimmy Johnson used to tell me. I do have final say, and I can tell Norv Turner, run it.
Run it, right.
You pick the run.
You pick the run. I ain't telling you what to run. You have to run 18 handoff strong or 19 handoff weak, but run the ball.
I agree. So when Pete Carroll heard pass, he was like, I'm good.
Right.
And when Russ heard pass in his headset, I think he was like, I got this. Right?
But the thing is, you got this. When you have an in-breaking route, Skip, and the guy is pressed in that area of the field, they got you dead to right.
Because you really think he's going to audible out of that call on the play of the game?
He should have audible the sprint option. That's what everybody else runs. Clemson won the national.
I'll give you that. You would have had a little better shot.
It's a touchdown.
Yeah. Because
he's pressed, because now he's going to try to quick jam you, and you're going to be able to get to the outside.
Okay, he did not make a poor throw.
No.
It was on the money. It was Ricardo Lockett, who's a bigger, stronger possession receiver.
But Skip, you're trying to run. You're trying to get leverage. Brandon Browder is 6'4". He's long.
Yep.
Once he press and stales you, there's no way. Because now you don't get the rub on the outside on Malcolm Butler. So what is Butler going to do? Drive.
Break.
He's taught, say, look here, if they run sluggo on you, that's us. But you better not let...
He did say they had practiced against that play that week.
Yes.
Because remember, he'd barely played all year. He's a rookie, undrafted out of West Alabama.
They put him in the game because, if I'm not mistaken, Kyle Arrington was getting killed. He was getting torched.
Yep.
And so Coach Belichick said, no. And to give Butler credit, because he got him a play, the guy bobbled it, caught it, got up and tried to run it, and Malcolm Butler tackled him before he got to the end zone.
Yep.
So give him credit, Skip. Things haven't been the same. Russell is saying, Pete, I need protection and I need input. The same thing that Tom Brady, remember Tom Brady felt? What did Tom Brady say one of the reasons Tom Brady wanted to leave? He felt that his voice was no longer being heard.
I don't think his voice was ever heard on personnel input.
No. Russ don't care, Skip. Russ don't care. He don't want to say, well, go get me this offensive lineman. I just need some offensive linemen. Can we not just get all undrafted free agents? Can we not get all 5th and 6th round picks?
They did go get that Dwayne
Brown.
He was pretty good. Maybe he's getting up there.
Yeah, he's getting on up there in age. But I get it with Russ. But you know what? Russ is starting to cause too much problem. Y'all should let him go, Seattle.
Yep.
And let's see what you got.
Well, he did lose me when he went public with 4 teams he would like to be traded to if it came to that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's really...
Russ didn't say that. That was his representative speaking for Russ.
You know who's co-signed on that one, right?
Russ did.
Okay. Well, maybe Russ should look in the mirror before he looks upstairs at what's not being done.
The man, look here, Skip. The man has an entertainer wife, and she wants to work too.
Okay.
What is she going to do up in Seattle?
I don't know.
You know, Vegas has
Chicago?
Man, you central. You can get to a lot of places quicker in Chicago than you can in Seattle.
When you thaw out. Right.
Well, hold on. You got to have an umbrella every day up in Seattle.
Yep. Just a little while every day.
She's trying to level up.
Yep.
So she trying to level up in Vegas or the Jets, Miami. Can you, Sierra in Miami? Russ in Miami? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Okay. So is that the Seahawks' problem? Is that their fault?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's their fault.
Yeah.
It's their fault. They won't listen.
I'm shocked it's gotten to this point.
I am too.
Yep.
I am too. Because I think the biggest thing that's shocking to me, the little bit that I've been around Russ and his personality, it seems so far from this.
Agreed.
That's what's the most shocking thing to me, Skip, is that this seems like so off-brand for him.
Yeah, he was the model on-field
Company guy.
citizen. Company, yeah.
He was the model. Hey, come on, guys. I mean, come on. You know how Pete is. Pete wants to. He was tired. If Seattle had a way, Russell Wilson was the Seahawk way.
Right. And it's not like they missed the playoffs last year.
Right.
They won the division.
Right.
And he's making this kind of a stink?
Yeah. I ain't happy.
Very odd. It feels like there's got to be more going on behind the scenes for him to be this outspoken about it in a lot of ways. It doesn't really fit his image normally,
Nope,
but
it does
I keep
not.
thinking sometimes you don't know how good you have it until it's gone. I mean, I wonder if he actually left, if he would be happier, because it seems like a pretty good situation up there. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.